of TV23's Internet, provided by SWKO Wireless Internet. Covering the High Plains with news, weather, and information. From TV23 Studios in Sublette, this is High Plains Today.
Good Tuesday, everybody. It is January 5th, 2016. Welcome to High Plains Today, right here on TV23. On today's show, we're going to be joined by State Representative from the 122nd District, Mr. Russ Jennings. Now let's take a look at some happenings out there. Southwest Medical Center welcomed Liberal's first newborn of 2016 during the early hours of New Year's Day. Ian Jesus Vasquez was delivered at 2:14 a.m. on January 1st. Now, baby Ian was born to new mother Pamela Gandarlia. I hope I got that right. I'm sorry, Pamela. Of Liberal. He weighed in at 9 pounds, 8 ounces, and measured 21 inches in length. Welcome to the world. Well, the national average for regular unleaded gasoline is now under $2 per gallon this morning at $1.99 per gallon. And the Kansas average is 24 cents under that mark at under $1.75 per gallon. Good enough for the fifth lowest average of any state in the country. Now, today's Kansas average is only 9% less than a year ago today, or 18 cents difference. You have to go back 7 years to January 5th of 2009, when it was $1.66, to find the Kansas average lower on January 5th than it is today. Law enforcement officials say cattle rustling increased in Oklahoma during 2015, largely due to higher prices. The Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association reports 1,645 animals stolen by mid-December. Now that's up 687 in all of 2014. The association law enforcement director, Larry Gray, stated that at one point in 2015, a 600-pound calf would sell for about $2,000 at auction, although he says the same calf might now sell for about $600. Officials also say cattle provide a thief with exactly what the animal is worth, as opposed to selling other stolen items for half their value. I did not know cattle rustling was still such a thing. Kansas needs more corrections officers and at a higher pay scale to keep them from bolting for jobs elsewhere. Now, the staffing problem at state prisons is disquieting and potentially dangerous, lawmakers say, and it is likely to be one of the squeakier wheels in the legislative session that starts next Monday. But what to do when there's no grease? Lawmakers don't have money in the current budget for new spending, and a big shortfall is projected for next fiscal year's budget, which begins July 1. Now, the starting salary for Kansas uniform correction staff is about a little over $28,000, about $10,000 lower than in Colorado and Iowa. Top Republicans are hoping the Kansas legislature can close a projected $190 million state budget deficit quickly this year and avoid the infighting that made last year's session the state's longest ever. Education funding is another looming issue, but leaders of the two chambers' GOP majorities aren't sure how far they will get in drafting a new formula for distributing more than $4 billion in state aid to public schools. Key Republicans said late last summer that they would like to enact a new school finance law in 2016, but Governor Sam Brownback and legislative leaders have said in recent weeks that interest has waned. So I guess we won't count on that happening. And that's a look at some of the stuff that's happening out there. I'm going to be back with possibly kind of a wet forecast. Stick around, we'll be back right after this.
You're watching High Plains Today on TV23 with host Chris Jewell. TV23's internet service and 4G live streaming provided by United Wireless. Coverage you deserve. Service you expect. United Wireless.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. But so is the solution.
play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah, this is the place.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you, wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
Now, the local weather forecast for the High Plains.
Hey, we're looking at towards the north. This is Highway 54 right here, Cimarron River Bottom, Big Sampson, the bridge there east of Liberal that we're looking at today. Let's take a look at our readings here at the station. 39 degrees, relative humidity is 69%. That's why that wind feels a little chilly today. Winds are out of the south-southwest at 11. Barometric pressure is falling. You can see everybody is pretty much in the 30s and lower 40s except for Lamar. 47 degrees already out there. I don't know if we're going to see that here today. Looking at our current dew points, so that you can see that why we're so moist around here. Everybody is pretty close to the current temperatures. That's why the humidity is so high. Looking at our winds, everybody is out of the south-southwest in the upper teens and the lower 20s. The windiest spot so far, Dodge City, Garden City, and Liberal. It's going to be breezy today, I'm going to tell you that. Looking at our highs and lows as recorded at the Garden City Regional Airport, 45 degrees was our high yesterday, 77 back in 1956. The overnight low was 19. That's not as bad as minus 17 back in 1974. No new precipitation. Looking at our forecast for today, it is going to get to 45. Clouds are going to be on the increase pretty much all day. Winds are going to be out of the south at 24. They're going to be gusting up to 36 miles an hour. I told you it's going to be breezy today. Tonight, mostly cloudy, 31 degrees. Winds are still going to be out of the south at 20 degrees. And tomorrow, partly sunny. It's going to try 50 degrees for our high. Winds will be out of the south-southwest at 13. That's not going to be quite as bad as it is today. But there is a chance tomorrow night, 20% chance of precipitation. 33 degrees overnight. Clouds are going to be on the increase. Winds out of the south at 7. As we look at the 7-day, you can see we're going to jump up into the 50s tomorrow. But that chance of rain and then turning into snow all the way in through Thursday and Friday. And then there's another chance of it sneaking in here on Sunday. We get towards the weekend, it's going to start cooling off. You can see that anyway. That's a look at the weather. We'll be back with markets and Russ Jennings after this.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm home. People are people around here. That's how it is, it's so clear. Letting it show. I've been around the world, only to find what I already know. This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah. This is the place.
Hi, Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs weekdays at noon right here on TV23. We talk about news, we talk about sports, we talk about weather, we're even going to talk entertainment. We'll have live guests right here on set with me. So, every day at noon, tune in, High Plains Today. We'll see you then.
Weekdays here on TV23.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Welcome back. I am now joined by State Representative Russ Jennings from District 122. Makes his home in Lakin. Right here, right now. Russ, good to see you today.
Good to see you.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are
Monday.
you ready?
Monday's
Next
the starting.
Monday, buddy.
Yep, that's right.
And then a week from today, you'll be sitting there and the governor is going to get out and give his state of the state.
Indeed he will. 5:30 Tuesday evening on the 12th, the governor gives a state of the state.
Will you be on the edge of your seat?
I have a sense I understand what the message will be.
All right. And what do you think the message is going to be?
I think the message will be we will continue down a path attempting to achieve zero income tax for the populace of Kansas. There will be some magic done in the budget numbers to balance the budgets. And he'll suggest no tax increase to support state operations.
Nothing new.
I expect we'll hear pretty much the same we did a year ago.
Okay, and the year before that, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so this session, now, budget. That's going to be the biggie, right? Going into this session?
I expect so.
Okay. How are they going to make the budget work?
Well, it'll be a challenge. As we sit here today, we're about $200 million short of revenue to meet the current budget year's funded budget, at least the budgeted amount. There's going to have to be a way to close that gap. Likely transfers from KDOT will be recommended, Kansas Department of Transportation. It's a pattern that's been established clearly in the past and more so recently. Budget cuts for some agencies are likely to occur, and other transfers to balance the budget. We have to have a balanced budget. That is the only constitutional requirement for the state legislature to meet.
Doesn't matter where the money comes from or how you get it. It's got to be zeros across the board when you guys leave. When you guys, cha-ching, final gavel falls, balanced budget.
That's the requirement, yes.
But when is this bothers me because, we were talking earlier, the bank of KDOT is going to dry up and there's not going to be anything there fairly soon, isn't it?
Absolutely correct. It was anticipated that during this fiscal year, $250 million of bonding would occur. In fact, KDOT in the month of December issued $400 million worth of bonds. They've gone over what was considered to be previously the threshold of limitation for bond debt was 18% of revenue. It's now above that. They were allowed to do so in the last budget bill for 2 years. We have $400 million worth of additional bond debt, some of which will likely end up funneling in to support the state general fund.
Here we go again.
Indeed.
Do you think this session will run long, or you think you'd be done?
The leadership is saying they'd like to see something in the neighborhood of 70 days. That may be a little optimistic, but I think the goal will be that the 2 sessions will not exceed 180 days because we're supposed to have 90-day sessions. Last year we went 114 days in order to wrap up business. So I'm sure that's in the back of their minds. The only factor that could really interfere with that would be if the Supreme Court renders a decision with respect to school finance before the session's over.
Okay, so if they do that, because you don't think, I don't think either, if education funding doesn't come up from the Supreme Court or anything while you guys are in session, it's not going to get touched.
Level funding is what I would expect to see.
So we're going to be right back to the block grant. So then next year, you're going to Band-Aid everything next year and then have to go in and do a big, massive fight again.
The real tough work will occur in the session following the one about to begin. The session beginning in January of 2017 will be every bit as challenging as last year's session.
If not more?
If not more.
Because you're probably going to be in the middle of the budget stuff again.
Absolutely.
As well as educational funding. All right, let me ask you this. Now, when you're out talking to your constituents and they look at where the state of Kansas is going, and we aren't meeting revenues, jobs are not just falling out of the sky. What are your constituents in that saying that about let's let business pay their share?
Well, you hear that. There's no question about that. I visit with business people who have benefited from this tax relief. I'm self-employed. I am a person who's benefited from the state tax relief. When I look at my tax bill for the federal government compared to the state government, it's chump change for the state government tax bill that I used to pay. I don't pay it anymore. But I utilize services and benefits of being in this state as a business person, just like every other business person.
Just like you and me as we walk the street.
Absolutely.
As a non-business or as an employee, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. So you think about when Warren Buffett used to speak about how unfair it was for him to have no federal tax and his secretary had to pay federal taxes. It's kind of the same story, a little different here in Kansas, where you have business owners who may be paying no income tax, but all of their help are.
So, all right. So do you think this will be any kind of a fight or not this session in the beginning?
I don't expect to hear any tax debate.
Really?
If I were to pull out the crystal ball of what will happen during this legislative session, you'll see no bill that will hit the House floor that will be amenable to a tax discussion. I would suspect it's likely that even the budget bill may never cross the floor of the Kansas House of Representatives for debate. What happened last year was the Senate placed their budget in a House bill. They changed then what the original House bill was, which was not a budget bill. Then it goes to a conference committee, and the conference committee convenes, and they talk about how to resolve differences. And then there's a report made, and you vote on that report. But you never debate the content. You never have the opportunity to offer an amendment. In my view, you never have an opportunity to speak on behalf of your constituents.
I was going to say,
and what their desires are.
Debate that?
It happens.
That's crazy.
It is.
I mean, it should all be out there for everybody to see and to talk about.
It's truly an issue of transparency. It is a part of the transparency argument that we should be wide open in what we do. People should have the ability to see what we do and understand it to the extent they wish to, and to comment on it intelligently. But there is an effort, and I don't think it's a mistake at all, to keep all of these issues confined and not subject to the light of day.
Well, and that's why we're seeing all these committee changes being made, coming up to the new session, that anybody that is kind of against for the Medicaid reform or education funding and those types of things, we're reassigning people to committees.
That's correct.
People that have been on these committees for a very long time.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Not only on those committees for a long time, but folks who had professional experience that allowed them to have insight that other members may not have.
That's what gets me, is we have all these committees up there, like education. You've got nobody that knows anything about education on those committees.
It's gotten that way.
I mean, that's crazy.
If you were managing a business, you would say it's a poor use of resource. You would most certainly put your most knowledgeable and experienced people in positions to govern and guide and create vision. But that's not the way this is working.
The lack of transparency that's coming out of Topeka is starting to mirror the level of transparency that does not come out of Washington.
Well, there's a lot of things that look a lot like Washington right now. I would argue that utilizing KDOT funds that in part are tax revenues that were dedicated when they were put in place for a particular purpose, that being maintenance and enhancement of state highways, that when we take those funds and use them for a different purpose, we've been disingenuous with the public about the basis upon which we are taxing them.
It's true.
We also take fees from agencies who have licensure and oversight responsibilities. When they have a little too much money in their account, we take those funds, we put them into the state general fund. So if you're a mortician, a barber, a lawyer, a doctor, and you're paying fees for this oversight of your profession, it's effectively a tax on those individuals. And it becomes disproportionate for state general fund support when we take those fees and use them for something other than what they were intended. It's not fair.
I don't envy you. Next Monday, I can just see, I can't wait. I can't wait to say, well, no, he already told me what he's going to say on Monday, or a week from today on Tuesday.
The sun's shining brightly.
There you go. The sun's still shining in Kansas.
Absolutely.
Russ, thanks for coming by today.
I'll
tell you what, you get some time off, you let me know. We'll have you back, and you can give us an update on how things are in Topeka.
All right. Thanks very much.
You bet, Russ. And stick around. We'll be back with more after this.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local TV and radio broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information. On every screen in your life. We are broadcasters. Always here for you. Wherever here may be. Text TV to 52886. Tell Washington local stations matter.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Something I feel when I'm right here. Something that tells me that I'm This is the place. Everybody here knows it. This is the place. Oh, it's home to me and you. Yeah, this is the place.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
And welcome back. Big game last night. Perry Ellis had 27 points and 13 rebounds for the Jayhawks, who had chances to win in regulation and the first two overtimes. Wayne Selden Jr. added 21 points, and Devontae Graham had 20, including the go-ahead free throw in the final extra session. Buddy Hield had a career-high 46 points for the Sooners, but he made two crucial turnovers in the final extra session, then missed a potential tying three-pointer at the buzzer. KU victorious 3 overtimes. Heck of a game. San Diego Chargers, Oakland Raiders, and the St. Louis Rams have all filed for relocation to Los Angeles yesterday, trying not to be left out in the race to return to the NFL's, the nation's second largest market. You know, it's been 21 years since LA's had a team. The Chargers want to partner with AFC West rival Raiders on a stadium in Carson. Well, here we go again, and all the rumors of who's going to L.A. Let's take a last look at our weather out there. Temperature's 41 degrees right now. Relative humidity, 66%. Winds are out of the south at 11, but they're going to pick up. Barometric pressure is falling. Do have a chance of precipitation tomorrow afternoon, 20%. And it could turn into snow on Thursday and Friday. I know those are bad words. I'm sorry. Go out and make it a good Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow. You want to see us locally? Call your cable operator.
The latest information from TV23 on our Facebook page, KDGL TV.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. For free tips to help you save, go to feedthepig.